Hey guys, this is Anna with Anna Travels, and I'm going to do a quick guide regarding the cherry blossom season in Washington, D.C. Many tourists flock to the nation's capital every year for the Cherry Blossom Festival, and I decided to do a little quick guide, just, because it's been 2 years, or actually 3 years. Well, technically, I guess it's been 3 years since we've had a festival, not since 2019. And so, I wanted to just go over peak bloom, what it means for your vacation, events, other fun cherry blossom related things that you can do with your family to make your vacation just a little bit more fun, exciting, and full of cherry blossoms. First, I want to address the COVID requirements. So DC, as of like mid-February, got rid of the proof of vaccine requirement. And I believe that masks are no longer required as of February 28th or March 1st, I think it was. But it doesn't mean that there are some businesses that are still requiring it. So if I find that link, I read an article about some restaurants that are still requiring proof of vaccine. Mass is really up to the establishment. Some completely don't care anymore. Some are still caring. So it's really up to them. So if I find that link for the restaurants that are still requiring proof, I'll link it in the description if you choose to not patronize them or patronize them. So peak bloom. Peak bloom is the one thing that so many people are interested in. They schedule their Easter photos or just their family photos around. And this year it's not correlating with Easter. Actually, I think last year it actually worked out pretty close. But this year it's an early spring, so we're going to have early blooms. So it's March 22nd to the 25th. And I think they said about 70% of the trees will be in bloom. So if you have your photographer scheduled for like Easter weekend, you might want to reschedule. You might want to see if you can actually do it a little bit earlier this year. DC is such a great area to have photos, but if you really want the blooms in your photos, you might want to reconsider your dates. So events. There's so many official events by like the National Cherry Blossom Festival. So the opening ceremony is March 20th, which is a Sunday, at Warner Theater. But all the tickets have been claimed, but it will be live streamed. So if you can't come to DC or you missed out on tickets, there's an option for you if you still want to see some of the Japanese performers. There you go. One of the events that I'm going to actually go to personally will be the Blossom Kite Festival. It's on March 26th on the Monument Grounds. And so it's beautiful. You get to see the kites flying in the air, and the Washington Monument is in the backdrop. It's a beautiful event. I didn't go to the monument, like the national grounds, in the mall grounds, but I actually was close enough that I actually could see the kite flyers. It didn't look like the festival was that big last year. I know that they still flew the kites. I'm not sure how official it was last year, like with participants and everything, but this year I'm definitely going to go. I'm going to vlog it, so if you can't make it to DC, I'll have that vlog whenever I post it later on, so subscribe to the channel. The parade. So the National Cherry Blossom Festival Parade will be on April 9th on Constitution Avenue. And, it's a pretty big event. It has been in the past. I'm not sure, the first year post-COVID how big it's going to be, but definitely if you love parades, especially pink everything, I definitely would check it out. Me, on the other hand, I will probably be going to the Sakura Matsuri Festival, the Japanese street festival that will be on April 9th, and for the first year it's a 2-day festival, so it's on the 10th as well. And so it's the 60th anniversary of this event, and tickets are actually cheap to get in. It's $10 for 1 day and $15 for 2 days, if you pre-purchase. So I think at the door it's like $15, $20, or $20, $25. I can't recall. But if you definitely know that you're going to go, save some money and pre-purchase your tickets. It'll be hosted on Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest between 3rd and 7th Streets. Apparently there will be sake tastings, beer garden, Japanese food vendors, and, regular Japanese vendors. Apparently there'll be a cosplay contest and just other events and cultural Japanese events, so it'll be really fun. I actually have not been to a Matsuri Festival since a long time. I think actually I mean, I don't think I've attended one because I've never been to the one in DC. But we did go to Matsuri festivals when my dad was stationed in Japan when I was a kid. So I'm excited for that the most. And of course, there'll be a vlog on it eventually. If you don't want to pay $10 or $15, you can just go to the Tidal Basin. The Tidal Basin area, the National Park Service is going to have food trucks, they're going to have beverage tents, and they're going to have other like cultural events throughout the day, starting from 11 a.m. to around 6 p.m. So if you don't really want to go to the actual festival, you can actually kind of go there. Last year, they didn't really have food. I think I saw like something being served in the booth, but it wasn't like previous years where they actually have more like food and stuff. But it is an option, especially if you don't want to do like the Matsuri Festival, or if you're not even going to be here that weekend. It's still kind of a way to get your little Japanese little festival. Like it's kind of like a mini festival almost. So one of the last official events will be the Petalpalooza. It'll be April 16th with the rain date of the 17th. And it's usually live music and activities for the whole family. It's free, so definitely like free events. And it's on the Capitol Riverfront at the Yards. And so if you want a free event, and especially if you're coming towards the end of the festival, there you go. So those are like some of the bigger events. They're obviously going to be, I don't know. I was trying to look up, there used to be a pop-up bar, but apparently it closed before COVID. And it was so beautiful. I always saw photos of it, but I never ever went. I always get super busy during like spring, so I just never went to it. Apparently it's closed. There was another one, but I couldn't, like, either they haven't posted information if they're hosting one this year. I think it was at Hook Hall. But since I'm pregnant, I'm not going to be doing a lot of drinking, so pop-up bars are probably not the most exciting things for me right now, unless they have good food. Which, talking about good food, I love cherry blossom season for the fact that the businesses get so creative with foods and drinks. And so, me, because I can't drink, it's a little bit bummer this year, but the food. So like Astro Donuts usually has a cherry blossom donut, Georgetown cupcake. Well, actually all the bakeries usually have like a cherry blossom themed baked good. It's just a lot, and some of I think the cafes do like a cherry blossom themed, like latte art or coffees and stuff like that. Teas. Teas. So last year, oh God, where did we go? I completely just blanked out where we went. But I'll link the video in the description or whatever corner it goes in. Afternoon teas. So we enjoyed our tea last year. But there's so many, like, a lot of the DC hotels host teas as well. We are booked at St. Regis this year. I saw their cherry blossom tea last year and it looked magnificent. Like, our tea last year was great, but their display was beautiful. So hopefully they'll have something exciting this year again. Mandarin Hotel is hosting a tea that was really pricey. It's like $122. But Watergate Hotel is hosting a tea. Willard always hosts a cherry blossom themed tea. Like I mentioned, St. Regis, a few other DC, and I think I forgot to write some of them down. But if you just type in cherry blossom DC tea, you'll probably find a few more options out there. Oh, the Ritz-Carlton in Pentagon City lists a cherry blossom tea, but I couldn't find any information of the one in DC, and I forgot to look at Georgetown's website. So if you like Ritz-Carlton's tea, that is an option. Usually the cherry blossom teas are a little bit priced a little bit more than like their normal teas, because they have to get that money in somehow. But I think some of them are worth it. But you also have to book early. So if you see my video today, I would definitely jump on it if you really want to book it, because they do book out fast. And there's usually other, like Artechouse. I'm actually going to go. I'm going to give their cherry blossom display again another try this year. Last year it was a little disappointing, but I did enjoy the neuron display. So I'm going to see what their petal, I forgot what they call, I think petal bloom or something. I'm going to go check that out actually next weekend. I'll have a vlog up, probably on the 13th maybe, if I can edit that fast, though. We'll see. I'm a little bit slow on my editing right now. Transportation. So depending on where you're staying at the Cherry Blossom, if you're coming in, I definitely do recommend going to a hotel that's on the mall, and or an Airbnb. I don't really like Airbnbs. I always like hotels. Like, I'm a hotel person, partly because I'm a travel agent, partly also because I don't really like the idea of going to a stranger's house. I mean, I've had good Airbnb experiences, but that's just my personal thing. But hotels have a lot of good rates, but I will say the good rates are still higher than if you were going to go during the dead season into DC, because it's peak tourist season for DC. So yeah, so I book early, though it's, not that early anymore. But if you're going, like, say in 2023, I would book your hotel early, get the best rates. But if you're staying on the mall, you could just walk usually to a lot of these events. Like, you can walk from the Mandarin Hotel, you can walk from Harrington Hotel, and a few of the other hotels that are near the mall. Metro is your next best option. I don't prefer Metro, but then again, we live 40 minutes, well, without traffic, 40 minutes from DC, and usually it's just cheaper for me and my husband to pay $20 for parking instead of paying $20 each for Metro, and also Metro parking. And so, yeah, so Spothero is one of the if you go on National Cherry Blossom Festival's website, they usually have, I think they have a discount code for parking. So if you are driving into DC, if you've never driven in the DC area, I'll give you take whatever time that Google Maps tells you. If it says 45 minutes, just leave an hour before. Not like, I would leave, add at least another 45 minutes to whatever Google Maps tells you. And people are going to be like, what? An hour and 15? Yeah, you're going to need it, depending on where you're coming from. Especially if you're coming, say you're visiting family in Woodbridge or Fredericksburg, add a lot of extra time. Especially if your event, whatever you're attending in DC, is time sensitive, because DC traffic is horrible during spring season and definitely horrible during cherry blossom season. And with the added stress of maybe the trucker convoy, you might just want to add a little bit extra buffer time. So if you're driving, just add another 45 minutes to whatever Google Maps is telling you to, especially if you're not going super early in the morning. I hope this video has been helpful. Please support my channel by liking and subscribing and sharing the video. I will be heading into DC pretty much every Saturday from next Saturday, March 12th, until the Matsuri Festival on April 9th. I'm not going to touch Easter weekend because that's the worst traffic ever. So also join me on Instagram. I'll be posting, a couple photos when I usually get coffee and I enjoy whatever the trees are offering that weekend, and then I go home. I also do some plane spotting, because you can actually watch the planes landing and, taking off from afar from DC International. Reagan National. So that's it, guys. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys in the future. Bye.